Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I'm sure that just about everybody listening and watching my videos will have already encountered the nefarious activities of Monsanto and the idea of genetically modified organisms. And I just wanted to make a commentary based on something that appeared in the Activist Post, which said that Monsanto threatened to sue Vermont if they actually went through with a bill that would require all genetically modified foods to be labeled and all products that contain genetically modified organisms to also be labeled to reflect that. And, of course, Monsanto came back with their own reply saying that, no, we didn't threaten anything. We didn't even testify before the legislature. But we do merely take the opportunity to point out that there may be constitutional issues here. The only one that did testify in Vermont, according to Monsanto, was an industry lobbying group by the name BIO, or BIO. So, nothing to fear from Monsanto. Well, we can certainly look and see with our own eyes the devastating damage that GMO crops have done. Number one, there has been absolutely no studies done of any credible nature to indicate that any of the genetic modifications to any of the myriad of products that are put out are in any way safe or indeed beneficial to people who actually consume this stuff. There is no way to know of the potential for genetic harm that could be done by the consumption of genetically modified organisms far down the road. They could have significant impacts on people's health, on cancer, any number of possible long-term diseases, things that take a long time to develop. And yet, without any of this stuff is poured and flooded into the agricultural community, and it's moving into animals and everything else. And we have seen that crops that are grown that are not GMO have been virtually taken over by the genetic modification. And of course, Monsanto immediately sues for product infringement, even though it is their organism that is the invasive one. They can sue because they have a patent on it. And then, of course, you have all of these people who potentially could be dead in 10 fucking years from eating fucking GMO corn or soybeans, or any of the other hundreds of fucking products that have been genetically modified without any kind of science to back up the safety and the idea that this stuff is actually nutritious and can be utilized by the body and does not pose a significant long-term threat, let alone something that could immediately poison you because of allergic reactivity. So we see these various attempts that are done to try and at least label genetically modified organisms so that people have the choice of saying, you know what, I don't want any Frankenstein motherfucking corn in my goddamn food. And if I don't want it in there, I have the fucking right to have a goddamn label on there that says this is a genetically modified fucking organism. But no, we can't have labeling laws. No, no, no. And you have Monsanto and all of these other groups fighting tooth and nail to bring down the idea of requiring labels. And do you want to know why? Because they know. They know that if there's a big fat label on that product that says this product contains genetically modified corn or wheat or canola oil or whatever, that people are going to take a moment to say, wait a minute, do I want that when there's a perfectly good, all natural, provided by the environment fucking corn? Of course not. It would mean a dramatic drop in sales of their fucking products, and they know it. So, I have this to say on this issue. And please contemplate this, because it's very key to maybe getting it through the heads of people when you talk about the issue of labeling GMOs. And that is this. One of the chief, if not the single major reason why, which is given as the official reason, let's put it that way, as to why labeling genetically modified organisms as such is not necessary, is because what? They claim that there is no substantial difference between the quote-unquote natural product and the genetically modified product. In other words, what they are saying in essence is, and this is their official reason for why labeling of GMOs is not necessary and is in fact counterproductive, let's say, from that point of view. They are in effect saying that there is virtually no difference between natural corn and genetically modified corn. Okay, well, if that's true, then of course there would be no need to label it, now would there? Because they're saying that these two things are practically identical. There is no difference between them for all practical purposes. So, now if that is true, then I say, fine, they should not be labeled. But, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Nobody has a patent on all natural corn that's not genetically modified. But they do have a patent on genetically modified corn. Now, how can you get a patent on a product that is no fucking different from the natural fucking version? So I say to you, Monsanto and all of you other genetically modified organism fucking peddlers out there, since there's no difference between your fucking genetically modified product and the real natural thing, then you have no fucking right to a fucking patent on it and cannot make money off of that fucking patented organism. Because there's no difference. Therefore, your patent is fucking invalid. Doesn't seem to me like you can have it both ways. It's either the same and doesn't require a fucking label, or it's substantially altered and supports your right to patent it. Which is it going to be? Food for thought, forgive the pun. Thank you. Good day.